welcome. I'm Lori Balderas, and I'm so happy you're here. Well, we're still in Advent, which is wonderful. I love Advent. I don't know that I'm getting the best Advent this year. I had one of my listeners, Eddie. Hi, Eddie. I had Eddie reach out to me and he said, "How's your Advent going?" I said, "Not well." It's just not very peaceful right now. Things are very hectic around here. And that's the reason we need to slow down. So maybe next time I come on, I'll give you a better update. I'm going to be referring to my notes a lot today because I have some facts I want to get across to you and I want to make sure I'm doing them properly. So I will do my best here, but I just want to give you a heads up on the next few episodes. I know that we're winding down of 2025 and I'm looking forward to 2026. I always look forward to fresh new starts, fresh. Anyway, I wanted to let you know what the next few episodes are so that you can plan for them. So here I am today. And then next week, I have a guest, Ed Lawrence. He is the founder and creator of a website called Prayers Unite. Wait, let me get it right. Prayers Unite the World. And I think this is a really interesting podcast episode with him. He has this website and people write in or contact them and prayers go out all over the world. So, prayers are very powerful, especially when there's lots of people praying for something. So tune into that episode. That's a good one. And then Simon and I will be doing the next 2 episodes after that. I wrangled him back in to do episodes with me. I know some of my listeners have been really missing him as my co-host, but Simon's a very behind the camera sort of guy. So we'll be doing one on Christmas, and every year we've done one. So we'll do another one this year. And also we will be doing a New Year's episode. And that one will be reminiscing about 2025, talking about the guests we've had, and then talking about our future plans because we have big plans coming up. So we want to tell our listeners all about that. Then in the new year, I will have Dr. Delgado as a guest. He's an author of the new book, Abortion Pill Reversal, A Second Chance at Choice. I just think this is going to be very, very exciting and interesting. And I'm really looking forward to that. I thought we'd start off the new year with a bang. And I just think if there's any way that we can, thwart off abortion, I think we should really be focused on that. So I hope you tune into that episode at the beginning of the year. And then I have Dr. John, I hope I get this right, Sottosanti. And he wrote a book called Mortal Adhesions. It's his story. He's a surgeon and he is a convert. So that's interesting. He battled 7 deadly sins to find faith, happiness, and inner peace. And so I'll have him on as a guest, and I have a feeling I'll have him back as a guest soon after that because he is studying the Shroud of Turin. And I think that's a very interesting subject in itself. So that's what's coming up. I wanted to just give you a heads up on that. And I also wanted to remind my listeners, I know, I'm getting new listeners all the time. So I don't know who knows what. I don't know who's caught up. I don't know who's listening to our news and who knows anything. But that's why maybe sometimes I repeat or I'm redundant, but I just want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. I'm reminding everybody that Simon and I are heading out after the new year on our new adventure. We're traveling around the United States. We're heading back east. We live on the West Coast right now, born and raised out here, and we're going to be doing some traveling. I'm calling it a long honeymoon, our 10-year anniversary. I don't know if this is coming out before our anniversary. Our wedding anniversary is December 12th, Our Lady of Guadalupe. We didn't plan it that way, but that's the day we got married. And we've never been on a honeymoon. So I'm calling this a very long honeymoon. And we're heading out in our Sprinter van and going on an adventure. So I'm really looking forward to that. We'll keep you up on that. And in our New Year's episode, we'll talk about what we're doing and the future of Fresh Catholic and what that's going to look like. So that's why I want you to tune into that one. I also have an update on my job. I'm a wedding coordinator at our church, and I gave my notice, and my last day will be December 31st of this year, New Year's Eve. And I did my last wedding on November 22nd. It was for a family that I knew and loved. I've known since I'm a little child. So that was a beautiful way to end my amazing job that I loved dearly. And I just have such great memories of that job and that position as wedding coordinator and helping people to, in my small way, to get their sacramental marriage. I just learned so much about sacramental marriage while I was doing that job. And I value everything about it. And so I will really miss that job. But I know that the person taking over for me, Laura Galvan, hi, Laura. She's a listener also, and one of my Patreons. So I really appreciate her. She's taking over for me, and I think she's going to be amazing. And so, sometimes when we are making life changes, we have to give things up in order to start something fresh and new. So it's been wonderful, but I'm looking forward to my future. And then what I wanted to do in this particular episode is talk about the next phase of something that I'm doing in addition to Fresh Catholic. Fresh Catholic is very important to me and Simon. We've been doing this now for 3 years. I can't believe that. We started in January of 2023, and I just feel really good about what we've done, the progress we've made. I feel we get really good, positive feedback. When we get feedback, it's usually very positive and good. And I think people are getting a lot out of this. My goal, of course, is for people to come to the faith or back to the faith. That's always been my goal with this. And, I love hearing from people. I love to hear if this podcast is impacting them. So we're still continuing on with Fresh Catholic, the podcast, the website, which has the different series on there. We're continuing with all that. But I have another couple of ventures that I'm doing because I realized one day, I was like, we're taking off to have some peace and calm and quiet. But somebody asked me, oh, so you're retiring? I said, well, I'm retiring from being a wedding coordinator, but I actually have other things that I want to do because in my nature, what I love to do is help other people. I love nothing more than to have an answer for somebody, to be able to use my wisdom to help others. And I was thinking the other day, this might sound funny, but I just turned 60 in the summertime, and I've had a life, man. I've had a lot of stuff happen in my life. I don't know that I feel 60. Some days I definitely feel 60. I feel very old and creaking and cracking everywhere. But, I just feel like I have a lot to give. And I also realized one day I'm turning into that wiser older lady. And I hope God willing, I have a long way to go. But I was thinking, I remember back in the day when I was young and my mom or my grandma or my, the older ladies that I knew, I really went to them for advice. I really went to them because they were wise and they knew what they were talking about and they'd lived through some things. And I at the time hadn't. I'd been through some things, but I was like, I was not wise. And I'm not saying I'm the wisest person in the world, but I'm becoming wise. And I think that comes from a lot of life experience, a lot of traumas, a lot of drama, a lot of challenges. That's what makes someone wise. I think every wrinkle I have on my face is because of either a lot of smiling I've done or a lot of anxiety I've had. I definitely know I have a lot of scars all over my body, which all tell a story. So I think, as you go through life and you get older, hopefully because of all the things you've experienced and all the things that have given you, like I say, challenges, what do you do with those? I mean, do you let it defeat you? Do you let it just knock you down? I've had moments like that. I've had moments where I felt like, oh, this is it. I can't get up from this, or I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. And the only thing that has saved me is Jesus Christ. That's it. That's it. He's made me a strong person. The Lord has made me very strong. The Lord has made me very resilient. The Lord has made me feisty. The Lord, I give him all the glory for all that. I've had times and choices where I could have just curled up in a ball, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. I go to bed, I put the covers over my head, and I have a hard time. But now that I have the Lord in my life and Jesus is the most important thing to me, I pray to him, he picks me up, and he gives me my strength. And so the things that I want to do to help other people, I feel like anything I've gone through in my life, and there's been a lot, now that I have the Lord in my life, I go, oh, so now what I need to do is use that to help other people. I don't just go, oh, well, I made it through that and good for me. And, who cares about other people? I do care about other people. I do want to use my sympathy and my empathy and things that I've gone through to help other people. So last spring, I decided, what can I do to help other people? I'm kind of limited in, I can't really afford to go to university. I don't have the time, the energy, any of that. So what can I do? What's my next steps? I knew that we were probably going to be leaving and moving, but I was like, what can I do? And I don't know about you, but I get like signs or feelings or something will pop up on my radar and I'll go, oh, like it's not out of the blue. I feel like it's God going, here you go, Lori. I want you to see this. And what do you want to do with that? Because we all have free will. So I remember seeing something and it was like about being a life coach. And my first thought when I saw this, I was like, oh, well, life coach, that's for, very liberal thinking people who are, I don't know. I don't know what's the charitable way to say it, but I just didn't think it was for me. I just thought life coach, I don't know. That sounds a little woo-woo for me. But then I kind of researched it and I was like, oh, a life coach. What that is that's actually somebody who's not a doctor. So it's not a doctor, not a psychiatrist, not a psychologist, not a counselor. There's no degree involved. It's nothing where, you go to school for many years and it's not that. So I'm not claiming that. But you do have to get certified. And it is something that I took very seriously. And I became certified as a life coach. And the reason I wanted to do that is because when somebody goes to a doctor, when somebody goes to a therapist or a counselor, they typically have a lot of past trauma, or they have something really serious. They might have a mental illness. They might have a drug addiction, alcohol addiction, something like that. And so they seek out medical attention. And I believe that that's a good thing for people to do. I know I've gone through therapy. My son has gone through a lot of therapy. He has a mental illness. And so I think, if you need to go to therapy, you should. I think you should go talk to your priest, your spiritual advisor for certain things. I'm all for that. Anything you need to do to help yourself and to get help, I think those are great. But what I found out was what a life coach does is a life coach helps people to address their things that they're going through. They're not there to, be a doctor, but they listen to what somebody's past trauma is or something they're going through and they're struggling. And then the role of the life coach is to listen, use past experiences that the life coach has had, and help the people to work their way through it to find a positive outcome. So a lot of life coaches work in tandem with doctors and therapists, which I think is amazing, because then the doctors are handling one part, but then the life coach is saying, okay, so now that you're working on that, what can we do to move forward so that you can have a happy life? What are, these are some of my ideas. These are some of the things that have worked for me. These are things that I know that have worked for other people. Let's talk about these. Let me help you get things organized in your body, soul, and spirit so that we can get you through to have a good, happy life. So this was very attractive to me. This was something where I thought, oh my gosh, I could take all these past things that I've been through, or my son's been through, or my children have been through, or my family, or my friends, and I can help other people with that. Because sometimes when you're in a struggle, you don't know what to do. You could Google it. You could say, what do I do in this situation? But it's okay to do that, but that's a very kind of detached way of handling something. And I don't know about you, but when I've had a problem and I've gone to somebody and they've said, oh, I've been through that. This is what I did. That in itself, it's like an old school way to hear a solution, to hear an idea. And if you're smart, you'll listen to those ideas. It's kind of like when you have a baby and everybody and their brother comes to you and says, oh, this is what I suggest you do. Oh, this, some people take offense to that. I used to listen. I'd say, oh, really? Like, what did you do? What worked for you? And then you decide what you want to do. You decide, okay, I got these 5 ideas about what to do about diaper rash. Now, what am I going to do about it? Which one am I going to choose? Maybe I'll try them all. But I think it's smart to listen to another person who's on the outside looking in, can give you a good perspective, a good idea, and say, this is an idea of something you can do. So that was very attractive to me because, like I said, I would really like to help other people. So I got certified as a life coach, a trauma coach, because I've had a lot of trauma. And so these are the things I want to help people with. So this is what my new vocation, God willing, will be, is helping other people and being a life coach. And so one of the things that was also attractive to me was when you're a life coach, you're in charge of how you manage your coaching business. Like, who will you be working with? And I just got to thinking, I am happy to work with anybody who needs help. Men, women, couples, young people, young adults, elderly people, all types of people. I don't want to just limit this to Catholic people. Of course, I would love to have Catholic people if they need help. Of course, I want to help Catholic people, but I also don't want to make it an exclusive thing where it's only Catholic people or only Christian people, because Jesus was very loving and kind to all types of people. I would like to do that as well. I would like to guide people in the way that I know how. And in my way would be to be a good listener, but to also know that in a gentle, kind way, I would like to introduce people to the Lord if they don't already have him in their life. I'm not going to push it down their throats, but truly the answer to all things is, like we've talked about, the missing piece in some people's life, that is the missing piece of Jesus, that they don't have that filled up in their life. They don't have him as a compass. They don't have him as a guide. And I'm not saying when you have Jesus as your compass and guide that your life is easy peasy. It is not. But that's always worked for me since I became a Christian and since I became Catholic. He's the thing that has gotten me through. So I would obviously encourage people to add him into their life, because that will make it easier on everybody if they add him. But even if they are Catholic, I still want to help people to remain faithful to him, to find ways, if they're finding themselves going into sinful things and sinful attitudes and sinful thoughts. I want to help them through that. I'm not a priest. I'm not a religious, spiritual guide, but I can definitely talk to them about certain things and guide them to their priest and their spiritual advisor, guide them to therapy if that's what they need. But I think that I could also offer a lot of things to help people. So we're going to take a short break. And when I come back, I'm going to tell you some of my ideas and plans and see if you or anybody you know might be interested in this venture I'm about to head out on. We'll be right back. What is happening at Fresh Catholic? Thanks for asking. Well, we have a weekly podcast with lots of topics and guests, and Fresh Catholic Daily, the daily Mass readings. Listen on all platforms and watch on YouTube. I also do short videos every day on Instagram and Facebook at Fresh Catholic. Like, share, subscribe, rate, and review. These are such simple ways to help us out. The other ways you can support our mission of drawing people to the faith or back to the faith are by becoming a Patreon or sponsor. Also simple, but so needed. Our website, freshcatholic.com, has an online store with merchandise, a blog, comics, and Fresh Catholic courses with educator Charles Merritt, with the Hail Mary, the Our Father, the Virtues, the Ascension, the Magi, the Visitation, the Ten Commandments, Sacraments and Grace, Sin, Advent, Angels, Lent, Typology, and even some Bible study courses. Wow, that's a lot. Please share all of this with everyone you know and join the Fresh Catholic family. And remember, be focused, be faithful, and be fresh. Oh, wait, one more thing. Our typology series by educator Charles Merritt is feeling very unloved. I know, I get it. You see or hear that word, typology, and your eyes glaze over. You stifle a yawn. You might think to yourself, or even say to others, dry, boring, too Old Testament-ish for me. If that's you, then you're missing out, because typology connects the promise of Jesus in the Old Testament and the arrival of Jesus in the New Testament. It's like putting scripture under a microscope and seeing things you never saw before. So head to our website, freshcatholic.com, and give typology some love and attention. You will be amazed. And we're back. So let me ask you a question. How many people do you know that are struggling with some sort of trauma, drama, anxiety, life-altering situation? I think we all know people like that. And sometimes we don't have the right tools or the right answers for people. And you know how you'll say to a friend, gosh, I haven't been through that, but I know somebody who has and someone who can help you. So I'm hoping that people will think of me when they maybe will guide people towards me if people need help. My past history has had a lot of very traumatic things. I'm not saying I'm the only one. There's people out there that have way worse situations than I have or have ever had, but I have been through some pretty traumatic things. I definitely had a great, beautiful little childhood, but then I had a very abusive boyfriend who turned out to be my first husband. He used to abuse me, and so I have a heart for people who have been in abusive relationships. He was also heavily involved in drugs, so I have that I know a lot about. I have had one of my husbands was very involved in alcohol, so I definitely know how that feels to be involved in a situation like that. I have a son who has a mental illness, so I'm very sympathetic and empathetic to parents and people who have family members or friends that have mental illness. I have a son who's gay, and so that, I feel like I am very, I really can listen to people who might be struggling with their children or people they know, and they are at odds with them because of their sexual identity or, um, their sexual preferences. So that's something. I was in a horrible car accident when I was very young, almost died. So did my children. And so I'm disabled. So I really, can talk to people who have disabilities and how that's altered their lives and how do they handle that? How do they cope? I've been through 2 divorces, which were very difficult, to go through. One was easier than the other. But I've been in that boat. I've had a parent pass away. I can be empathetic about that. So I have things where I definitely can listen. I definitely have learned a lot from all those experiences, and I want to be able to help others with the things I've been through. One of the things that I heard this quote, and I really love this. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. I love that. That is C.S. Lewis. I love that because, I think sometimes when people go through traumas, dramas, and anxieties and all these different problems, they, like I said before, they think, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I guess this is just my life. I guess this is what it is. And I don't want people to feel that way. I was feeling that way recently, and I'm not in charge of my life. The Lord is in charge of my life. But if there's things that I can say to the Lord, Lord, please get me out of this situation. I would like to do something different. Please make it available to me. What can I do? I think it's important to take steps to do that. And that's, kind of what Simon and I did. And so I just don't want people to feel stuck in what their life is. Now, I'm not saying, oh, you're not happy, go get a divorce. Oh, go, leave your family and go find yourself. No, absolutely not. Actually, quite the opposite. I feel like people need to be given advice of, let's work through this. Let's figure out how you can keep your marriage and your family intact. And let's try to find some solutions. Let's try to find some common ground. Let's try to work on yourself to see, well, what am I contributing to this trauma and drama? What can I do to fix something on my end so that then maybe we can, work through these things? It's not a secret that Simon and I were separated for 3.5 years. We didn't live together. We worked together. We saw each other all the time. It was with the understanding we were going to work it out, and we did. So I think that in this day and age, everybody quits everything. Oh, I'm having problems with my family. I'm just going to ignore my family. I'm going to be mad at them and not talk to them. Oh, I'm having marital problems, or I'm in a rut, so I'm just going to get a divorce. And you have people actually encouraging those things, which is just wild to me. So I want to do the opposite. I want to encourage people to work on their family problems, to work through it, to agree to disagree, to find some things that, so you can remember, oh, we're a family. Oh, we need to work through these things. And especially with marriage. That's why when I was a wedding coordinator and people were getting their sacramental marriage, I was like, well, I just really do value marriage. And that might sound weird to people since I'm on my 3rd marriage, but the other 2 were before I was Catholic. They weren't a sacrament. So my marriage to Simon is very important because it is a sacrament. We're in a marriage with Jesus. So, I just really want to encourage people to stay in their marriages, but to refresh them, reevaluate them, figure out what you can do to make your marriage happy. Don't feel like you're stuck in a rut. Communicate about it. Say, you know what? I'm not feeling super great. What can we do to work through this? Your marriage should be super high on that priority pyramid, right? We've talked about that. Jesus is on top. Your marriage is right there, and then everything else comes down from it. So what I like to say about my new little venture is I want to help people to seek love, find love, build love, keep love, and spread love. See how that love? I just think that love is the answer to everything. God is love. And I think people are struggling to, first of all, to go out and seek love. It's, you can't do that on a phone. You need to have human interaction. I want to encourage that. I want to encourage and help people to find love. I think that's a beautiful thing, to try to help people to have confidence, to go find love, and then to build love with each other. Like, you have to work on it. It's just not like, oh, that guy's good looking, I think I want to marry him, and I don't have to work on it. I don't have to do anything, to show him I love him or whatever. Just examples. And then keep love. Like I said, I think, people throw in the towel far too easy, and you shouldn't do that. I don't get that. That's really weird. And spread love. I think, the more love we can spread, there's a lot of hate in our world right now. People are chanting for other people's death and destruction, and people are laughing and mocking other people when they're being killed. Or, I mean, what is going on? That, people are killing babies. It's wild. I want to help people to be selective and discerning in who they're choosing, help people restore their relationships and attitudes of self-worth. I think there's a lot of people that put themselves first and just like me, and it's everything that I need and what I want, and it's all about me. What? We need to be in service of others. We need to do things for other people, put other people first. That's something Simon and I, we're always serving others, and we love it. We love it, but not a lot of people do that. It's really a selfish culture we're living in. It's all about what do I get out of it? What do I need? Anyway, but I think sometimes people have very low self-esteem, and I want to work with people on that, on finding their best self so that they can be a good spouse and partner and friend and husband and wife to other people. So what are my ideas? I have some great ideas for workshops and sessions and things like that. So some of the ideas I have are having a few series. One called the Vicious Cycle series. People are in a vicious cycle, whatever it is, addiction or, whatever, like you're in a vicious cycle. How do you break free from that? I want to do a couple up series where you learn how to find a good spouse. Like, we need people to get married and have babies. That's what we need to do. And a series called Love Lasts series. How do we make love last? I want to do like workshops, seminars, courses where we can do this online, because that's a thing everybody's doing now. So it doesn't matter where I am. I can have people all over the world logging in, and we can do these things together. Some of my ideas are, some of the titles are Complaining to Contentment. That's one. Struggles to Strengths. Valuing Yourself and Others. How to Attract the Opposite Sex. Embracing Masculinity. Embracing Femininity. I think those are really important. Being feminine. What's wrong with that? Celebrating the husband and wife roles. Instead of being at odds with each other, celebrate the different roles. The value of being a trad wife. And for those of you who don't know what that is, the value of being a traditional wife, of doing traditional things. I think that's a beautiful thing. How to dig out of a marital rut and discover and rediscover that spark. How to reinvent and reinforce your relationship. How to refresh your life and relationships. How to simplify your life. How to be a happy homemaker. So these are some of my ideas of things that I think I have knowledge about, I have experience with, and I think people can benefit from these workshops. I will be doing group sessions and one-on-one sessions. So some people, if they want to go to workshops and seminars, that's great. But then if you need more concentrated things that you want to talk about, I'm going to be offering group and one-on-one sessions. And let's see, I'm also going to have a whole new, I'm going to have a whole new website for this. I'm going to have a whole new social media for this. Again, in addition to Fresh Catholic, that's still going to be going. But I think it will be really good that people can go to my website and sign up for classes, sign up for seminars and for workshops or one-on-one or group sessions. You can do that on the website. You can check out my social media. I'm going to be doing things. Don't hold me to this. This is just in the planning stages, but the social media will be things like Marriage Monday, Hot Tip Tuesday, Wedded Bliss Wednesday, Inspiring Thoughts Thursday, FAQ Fridays, Simplify Saturdays, and Sacred Sundays. Doesn't that sound fun? Doesn't that sound like you want to click in and go, what's she doing today? What's going on? What hot tip does she have today? So those are some things that I'm going to be doing. I know this sounds like a commercial, and it kind of is, because I just don't want to be too, not getting too much accomplished. I want to continue helping people. This is how I would like to do it. Reach out to me at Lori@freshcatholic.com if you are interested in anything I'm saying today and you want more information. And also keep an eyes and ears out for me inviting you to the new social media and to my website. And like I said, if you know of anybody that needs my help, my advice, my expertise, my experience, please guide them my way. I would love it. I would appreciate it. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for listening. And thank you for your support at Fresh Catholic and in my new venture. Thank you. Love you. Bye.